Welcome, folks, to the very first of many, Velocity Sellers Showdown. I am your host and today's moderator, Pete Sims from Velocity Sellers, Velocity Pete, if you will. I didn't mean to give my full government name there, but that's what we're doing now. So I'm Pete Sims from Velocity Sellers, also known as Velocity Pete. Today I'm going to be moderating debate between two of our brightest minds here at Velocity Sellers. We've got Eric Peterson. Peterson is his last name. People confuse me, Peter Sims, for Eric Peterson. It's very funny. And we've got James D., probably one of the funniest people I know. That's my little spiel about both of them. They're going to be talking about a variety of different topics, all surrounding Amazon. There may be some agreements. There may be some disagreements. There may even be some eye rolling. Today's debate is now underway. Gentlemen, thank you both for debating each other and coming on to start the series. I'm trying to hold it together here, trying to be very serious, and talking and getting this series underway here.
Thanks for having us, Pete.
I had the choice of a few questions here we came up with, and I had the choice of starting out with a simple one, and I had the choice of starting out with a topical one. I'm going to ask both, but I'm going to start with the simple one to get the crowd warmed up a little bit and get both of you warmed up for debating. So for those of you out there watching, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to pose a question. I'm going to have both of our debaters write down their answer on a fun note card, and they're going to take some time to think, write down their answer. They're going to show it to the camera, and then from there, we'll go into debating that particular question. I've got a bunch of questions for us today, so to start us off again with a pretty basic one, but I think has a lot of depth to it. In 2025, in this day and age, is Amazon good for a small business? I'm not talking a business that is, they have one store, but they're doing $1 million a month. I'm talking a small business, just got started, sort of a mom and pop shop. Considering all the things that go into it, is Amazon good for a small business in today's day and age? Gentlemen, please reveal your answers. Oh. Eric is a hard yes with 3 exclamation points. James with a soft maybe. James, why maybe? What is holding you back from saying a full yes or no?
Well, you can be successful on Amazon, but you need off-platform messaging, right? You need to have your social game needs to be pretty strong in order to be. Can you have it without a social brand? Yes, you can. Yes, but you really want to have the full gamut to distinguish yourselves from a China brand or knockoff brand to your own brand. You can control your messaging. You got to have a nice website. But for the factors on Amazon, yes, you be any size business and be successful on Amazon.
Interesting. And Eric, you had a resounding yes, which is different than James's soft maybe. Why the resounding yes, and why 3 exclamation points?
Because Amazon is like a major playing marketplace, and if you're not in there, you're not really running a successful business. To be like, that's the hands down, right? Because you want to be everywhere. You want to be in social media. You want to have your website. You want to be on Amazon. And if you're a brick and mortar store, you definitely want to be on Amazon. Because right now, let's say you're a brick and mortar store and everybody says shop locally, and everybody, like, that group of people is really pumped about shopping locally. You're going to get that business. Why not get more business? Now you have the whole United States to be selling your product. If you have a good product, you're going to make some money there. You don't have to make, 20, 30, 50, 60, $100,000 a year, but let's say you make it $4,000. $4,000's a mortgage payment. $4,000's the car payment, mortgage payment. $4,000 is beer money. Like, it's like the sexiest time to be running a business right now is because you have global sales at your fingertips, but with $39.99 a month or whatever Amazon charges. Like, it would be silly not to do it. And that's kind of my stance on that whole thing. I will keep it kind of short, but it's always like, what is it like? No, I'll just end it there. I'm good. Otherwise, I'll just keep going on a tangent. But yes.
Thank you, gentlemen, for those answers. On the topic of small businesses starting out, getting going, you both mentioned it's important for them, these businesses, to have their own personal website. if a small business had to choose between launching on Amazon or on their own website, they only have inventory for one, which one should they choose? Both said Amazon. Both said Amazon. Interesting. Okay. So and I feel like I know where this is going to go, and I'd like to weigh in as the moderator as well after your answers. But James and Eric going first. Why Amazon over the website?
Well, website, you have to you have to go from the ground up, right? Amazon already has the playground. You can just go and then play in it. On your website, you got to get a following, you got to get Google ads going, you got to get good content, you got to get everything. Not saying that you don't have to do that for Amazon. You could double dip, website assets to Amazon assets or whatever. But if you have limited time, and you want to just kind of hit the ground running, Amazon is going to be your quickest path forward, just because there's going to be so much traffic already on Amazon, instead of somebody trying to build up a website and then you have to showcase who you are. You have to be trusted. There's a lot of trust issues out there. Most people, well, I shouldn't even say that. There are a group of people that will go to a website, look at it, go, and then they go to Amazon to purchase. So the website's a good like a good complement to Amazon, just so you can kind of, do both. Because then if there's people that are anti-Amazon, they'll buy on your website. If there's people that are have trust issues, they'll go to Amazon. But Amazon is just kind of a faster, easier way to get your product in front of people.
James, anything to add there?
Eric's right. It is the largest marketplace in the world, right? Why not go market into that platform first before? But yeah, you have way more searches, you have way more opportunity to generate the fastest amount of income is going to be through Amazon than it is through your website at the beginning.
Right. Say you're a more established business with a bigger product line. Is it ever worth losing money on a product on Amazon? Gentlemen, your answers. Both with resounding yeses. Eric with a big yes.
Ooh,
Eric is feeling a little more emotional than James, and I kind of like it a lot. Eric, let's start with your multiple S yes. Why is it super important, or why is it a big yes?
Because it's always going to be a short-term loss for a long-term gain. That's just always how you want to look at it, especially on Amazon. Like, a good example is somebody doesn't want to buy GS1 UPCs. Just buy GS1 UPCs. It's going to set you up for success for the next 30 years. Or, I don't want to spend money on Vine. Why? Nobody's going to buy your product from 0 to 5 reviews. You need at least 5 reviews for your products to go. Even if you have a premium product that is $200-$300 a loss per unit that you give up, it's still going to be beneficial to have those 5 reviews to start making money. You're going to have a bad time with Vine, or if you're doing, like, and I've talked to about it probably almost every time we do a Prime Day thing or a holiday thing, is like, lose some money to get those reviews. It's fine. Like, you're going to get it back later with that short-term loss. So I have a lot more examples like that, but it's always going to be, if you are going to set yourself up for success, you got to spend some money.
Right. James, anything to add there?
Yeah, you could use it as a strategy game to give halo to other products that might be not as much traction, right? It's like having even more so, why spend money on a billboard advertising, right? You want to have some loss leaders out there to help your indexing, to help that search discoverability. And then ultimately, hopefully you can do cross promotions or do something else that will give lift to other ASINs or other products that are in your catalog. So
Love it. Love it. Kind of looking forward after you've been around for a little bit now. You're thinking about expanding internationally. Which is the best time to expand internationally? Is it at the beginning of growth, after you've maxed out your growth in your current marketplace, or never? Gentlemen, your answers. Both agreed at maxing out your growth. All right. James, why should you wait until you've maxed out your growth? If you're on a hot streak, shouldn't you be going over there?
We see this all the time. We see clients expand to other marketplaces or without giving the full max capacity of what you can do on Amazon US. And what happens is they cannibalize their inventory, and one drops here, the other one picks up, or they just don't give enough to the platform currently to maximize growth. You got to push the envelope as furthest you can. Then once you've kind of maxed out that particular platform, then look at other expansion, whether it's international expansion or other marketplace expansion. Don't just do it because everybody else is doing it. You really want to, give the benefit of the doubt on the current platform that you're on. So obviously Amazon US. Um, that way you know exactly what its capacity is. Then you can kind of filter out to other marketplaces.
Eric, same thoughts?
Yeah, in mine is like max out growth. It's complicated because I am like 51% leaning towards the max, 49% as you kind of go up. It just really depends on, and mainly for me, in my experience, has been inventory related. If they're selling like hotcakes here, why not expand? And then they expand, and like James said, all of a sudden you don't have inventory here, or you sent all your inventory to the UK. It's not doing very well. You're out of stock in the US, which was doing really well, and now you're kind of just sitting there going, "Well, when's stock coming in?" And then everybody's like, "Well, why isn't the UK making more sales?" And then all of a sudden, it's just this whole spread too thin sort of thing. So you want to get you want to get the US maximized as much as possible, then start expanding. And I always recommend, instead of going straight from the US to international, or excuse me, US to the UK or Europe, go to Canada first, just because you're not going to make that much money in Canada, but it's a good exercise for your team. And then if your team can handle Canada, then you can probably handle the UK, right? And then Germany or wherever, whatever the strategy you're going to do. So just because you can go there pretty easily on Amazon doesn't mean you should, right? Like, what is that quote from Dr. Ian Malcolm?
It's like that science never asked, science always asked, could they and not should they?
Yes,
Right.
exactly. So,
Okay. Did
Ooh,
you like that?
wow, we're
yep,
getting,
yep,
Did you like
jeez,
that?
this is pretty deep, guys.
yep, yep.
Moving on to the next question, kind of on the topic of emerging brands. Should emerging brands position themselves as high end to boost ASP or average selling price, or compete on price to win market share? Eric appears to be struggling with this one.
All right. I'm
Gentlemen,
being difficult.
your answers. Both. A twist on the question. Eric said, "What is the brand?" I think you both kind of came at this with a fun answer. I'm excited to hear both fun answers. Eric, that is a typical answer on SAT questions, is not enough information. Is that what you're saying here?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have enough information. It's like, what's your mission? What's your vision? What's your brand? Like, what are you trying to do? Like, who's your demographic? Like, what what niche are you filling? What gap are you filling in product, in the product landscape, or that, what are you trying to achieve? So you can't just come out of the gate going, "I'm premium." Why are you premium? Why should I buy? Why, like, if you have zero, like, if you're brand spanking new to the market, are you an expert? Are you an authority? Are you an educator? Why am I not buying, or like, why am I not buying the other brands that are established? What's your value prop? All of those things. That is what makes you a premium. It doesn't mean, like, premium doesn't mean high price. Premium means that it's good quality, and that is why it's high priced. You can't just buy something from Alibaba, throw it on Amazon, and say it's premium. You have to tell me why it's premium. You have to show me why it's premium. And I think you get the idea, but I can keep going all day on this. But like, it always starts with what's your like, what got you excited to say, I'm gonna go into business for myself? What was that message?
Right.
And then you move along with that message throughout the entire process.
Right. James, you said both.
Yeah, obviously, looking at all the factors, right? I think Eric's definitely right. It's brand specific, and premium, people's perception on premium is kind of broad, right? Premium could be the premium messaging that you have. So they're killing it on social media and there's buzz going around, but it could be an inferior product, but they have premium messaging, right? Um, I said both because you always want to, even you might be a premium brand and you're trying different things to increase that average order. So why not give quantity discounts on direct to consumer side? Why not do some cross selling on a premium item with maybe not a premium item, to get lift, to get that AOV up a little bit? I think we're always trying different strategies to increase that average order ticket, right? Um, but there's a lot of things that you could be doing. Um, but again, I have to agree with Eric. It really is dependent on, you know, the why, and really emphasizing on the why. Um, but if it's an Amazon premium, what distinguishes you from, what makes you think that?
What sets you
You
apart?
think,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. What sets you apart? On platform and even off platform. I think off platform, you can really distinguish that messaging. Whereas Amazon, you do, but you're confined in a certain shell of what you can. Obviously you can't make claims and so forth, but on your website and other platforms, you can make some of those claims of why you're more superior than others. So it's a little bit of both, I think.
Gentlemen, next question here. Which is more important, great products or great marketing strategies when it comes to Amazon? Is it better to have a wonderful product, but a strategy, or a meh product and a great marketing strategy for it? What's going to sell better? Your answers. You both weighed in on strategies. You both said strategies as opposed to product. Does that mean you both think, and I want to get both your answers on this, does that mean you think you can market a not so good product with a good strategy? James.
Yeah, we see it all the time. I buy because of maybe some of the packaging or the messaging that I saw, the imagery. People are buying images on Amazon. On e-commerce, they're buying an image, right? Um, where Amazon comes into play, which I do like, is the reviews hold a lot of weight. So maybe on Amazon you can't pass a inferior product as easily as maybe on a website or other platforms, just because they do police those reviews, and those reviews are a lot more powerful these days because you know people have the power now, and sometimes they abuse that power. um but yeah, ultimately I think it boils down to what your overall strategy is and how you position the product. um I can, 9 times out of 10, you can kind of see it. If you have a product, or we see it all the time when comparing the two products. You might have one that imagery is not very good, or the messaging isn't very good, but technically it could be it's a way better, night and day better product. Whereas you have an inferior product that just is nailing it on the messaging, nailing it on kind of the branding itself, the marketing itself, and be way more successful, way more successful. So unfortunately, you just gotta keep trying different things and try to distinguish yourself. But yeah, we see that a lot.
Eric, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's always gonna come down to marketing. Yeah, like, we did kinda talk about, like, like, just a second ago, we were talking about branding and, being a premium product. You can be a premium brand and not necessarily have a premium product, but you're gonna lose a sale. You're not gonna have a repeat customer. You're gonna lose word of mouth. But if you have a good, like, but James said, like, If you have a good product with no marketing, nobody's going to buy your product. So you have to start with marketing first. You have to start with branding first. You have to start with your vision, your mission, all of these objectives that you have as a business. You cannot just take a product and then sell it on Amazon. It's not 2012 anymore. Like, you have to have a reason for people to buy. Especially, I know James keeps bringing up social media. There's so many social media influencers. There's so much reach coming from social media that you have to have branding. If you don't have branding, you're just going to be this you're just going to be you might get lucky, or you're just going to be one of those companies that just can't get off the ground. Um so marketing first. Well, I should say branding, then marketing, then product. And if you have a good product, then then you'll have repeat customers. But you're not going to get customers without those first two first. Look at like the Pet Rock, Beanie Babies, like all of these things, like even Nintendo. Like every year, Nintendo or that launches a console, they fake scarcity to build demand. They've been doing it since what, 1985, and Pet Rock was just actually a rock with googly eyes on it. I don't even remember if the googly eyes were there at first. I think it was just a rock in a crate with some straw. Like, the marketing on that stuff sells the product.
Last question here, gentlemen, to finish off the debate here. Which is worse? Bad images on your product listings or bad SEO? Gentlemen, please reveal your answers. Both said images. Very interesting, considering we're coming off of the question where, and again, maybe this doesn't tie in, maybe it does. Both said that marketing strategy was more important than the product. Why images versus SEO? Why is it worse for a product to have bad images versus bad bullets or bad titles or bad SEO? James.
E-commerce. People are buying images. They can't, at brick and mortar, you can touch and feel. You base those decisions, emotional decisions, off stuff that you're touching and kind of try to get intimate with. But ultimately, images with AI these days the content is crawled. It provides ranking there as well, so that's part of your SEO. But I could have, if you're looking, just put yourself in the customer's shoes. If you got two listings, you've got full image stacks, you got video, that thing is just looking so good. And the same product, let's say it's the same identical, product, but the images are blurry and not shaped. You can't zoom in or do anything, but the copy's really good. You're still going to buy the one that you can see and feel a kind of an attachment to right away. So yeah, images hands down.
Eric, same idea?
Yeah, essentially, like, I mean, putting a product in somebody's hand like this, and this is your shot. Now I know it's the size of my hand. It's about the size of my hand. Or there's a 40-year-old guy using that product and be like, hey, I'm like a 40-year-old guy. I'll buy that product. Like, now they're humanizing that experience. You can, like, ideally you want both, right? You're not gonna
Right.
get butts in the seats without the SEO, but I can force it with advertising. So I'll force you to come to my listing through advertising, and then when you see my images, you're gonna convert. Nobody converts from reading. Nobody likes reading. Reading's terrible. We just want to see something and then we buy something, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
To finish off,
Then you do SEO, right?
Yeah.
I think ultimately you definitely, but you can do SEO in your imagery as well now.
Yep.
So that will provide ranking. If you're talking to like on Amazon, yeah, that's kind of how I would do it first,
Right.
for sure.
coming up, we've got Prime Day. Do we think 4 days will be better than 2? I feel like this is going to be a fun answer. Gentlemen? No. Eric said yes.
But no.
Yes, but no. Eric said yes, but no. Eric, why yes, but no?
I mean, you're gonna, like, 4 days, you're gonna have a little bit of elevated sales, right? So it'll be like, is it gonna be better than last year? Well, probably by 10-20%, my guess. My guess. I'm guessing you're gonna have a hot first day, maybe a little, like, you'll have a downturn on the second day, and then long tail for the third and fourth day. Typically, you have on Prime Day, and Black Friday, like, usually the first day is pretty solid. Actually, Black Friday last year, I think it was kinda lackluster. I think it was kind of like just like a steady line, if I remember right, so forgive me on that. But, like, typically on Prime Days, it's really hot first day, and then almost 60% of the first day is the second day. So, if that's the trend, I'm guessing it'll kinda trail off, or it'll be lackluster and it'll be kind of a steady line like, Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Interesting. And James? Not
We're gonna
happening.
be 5 years from now. It's gonna be a 2 week Prime event. It's not gonna change anything. It's really not gonna change. Where you're just diluting. You got Target coming into play. You got Walmart coming to play. Then your brick and mortars have they're having sales at this time. I just think it's another way to extend now that there's all these Amazon fees for coupon. It's just another way for them to generate more revenue into their bottom line. I don't think it's to the seller's benefit at all. I think it's more towards Amazon and the consumer benefit, unfortunately. So, yeah, I just don't think you might see a spike on Friday because people get paid typically on Fridays. So you might see a little bit of a good take rate on Friday. But Tuesday, big spike, and then I'm gonna see more of just kind of maybe some trickles and maybe a spike, maybe a heartbeat come up on Friday. But
Yeah,
it'll be interesting.
It's definitely gonna be interesting.
I got a little bit more on that because 'cause what's interesting about it too is, like, just customer fatigue. There's just gonna be customer fatigue for a 4-day sale, and then and what's gonna be interesting also is, like, this year, the Amazon big spring sale, that was in March. I think it was, like, March 25th through the 31st or something like that. I'm curious to see if that's gonna get bigger next year because I think it got bigger this year. I think it was smaller last year. It's bigger this year. My guess is it's gonna get bigger next year, and I wouldn't be surprised if they turn that into a prime big spring sale, right? So then you're gonna have something in March, you'll have something in July, then you're gonna have October, then you have November, and now you're making it Menards 11% off sale. I never buy anything at Menards not off that's not 11% off. Like, cuz they do it all the time. You've removed how special it is and how big of an event it is. And now it's just, "Oh, I'll catch them on the next sale." And then so it might actually impact, like, if you have too many of those things, it might start impacting everybody's kind of Amazon sales as a whole.
Yeah, I agree with that. You're changing everybody's buying habits,
Right.
right? It's losing its luster. Prime is not what it used to be
Right.
at all.
100%.
Black Friday, Cyber Monday is
100%.
not what it used to be on e-commerce or even in brick and mortar, right? It's like crickets in some stores and on Black Friday, where it used to be people, getting mobbed with and trampled over. So that whole premises has stopped. I just think it's the more that they add, the less, and then people are gonna wait. There's gonna be like my buying decision is I was in May. I wanted something in May, and then what did we do as a family? We're like, we'll just wait until
July.
July to
I'm
buy,
doing that right now.
right?
Doing that right now
So
myself.
so
So
September decisions or August decisions, or people are like, hey, let's wait
just wait
till
till
mid.
October. Yeah.
Yeah. Or they might just say, hey, I'll just wait till Black Friday, right? Cyber Monday and see. Because used to be electronics on Cyber Monday, right? It used to be all electronics and that was the only deal. But that's not the case
Now it's
anymore. It's
everywhere.
everything.
Now it's everything. It'll be very interesting to see. I hope we do get a 2-week and eventually a 2-month Prime Day. Maybe even a whole year of Prime. And then we don't sell anything else for like 5 years. You have a 5-year window. 1 year is Prime year, and then the rest you just don't sell anything at all. That's probably what we're
But
going
you
to.
have one day to send in the inventory.
And you have to get it in, right? You have to get it in by this day. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for coming on and debating each other, despite you agreeing with a lot of each other's takes. There were some fun moments of a lot of emotion, a lot of exclamation points, and a lot of S's in the yes from Eric on that one question. So I want to thank you both for coming on and debating. If you would like to be a part, you watching right now, yes, I'm talking to you. If you would like to be a part of a Velocity Sellers Showdown, reach out to me. at podcast@velocitysellers.com. And I'd be happy to gauge your worthiness to come on, and we'll find someone to debate with you and do something just like this.
I like that
Yeah.
idea. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
This segment's going to be,
I think it's going to be fun.
that'd be awesome.
Thank you all for watching. I'm Velocity Pete, and we will see you next week.